What's up, guys? M. Jones back in the house again for another in-theater review. Today we're going to talk about Prisoners. Just saw Prisoners last night with Mason, and I was absolutely so impressed with this movie. I really loved this movie. I had a feeling it was going to be good. You know, it was holding in the 80s all week. Prior to release for Prisoners on Rotten Tomatoes. I just had a really good feeling that this movie was going to be spectacular. I love this movie. It was so good. The cast was perfect. Everyone cast in this movie, they either extremely worked hard to get this role, or the casting people and the director and the producer, they all just said, this is going to be genius. We have to force to hire them. We'll do whatever it takes. Everyone in this movie made sense. Not one person in this movie was out of place, as in place of character. Just to run down the people who were really in the movie, you know, Hugh Jackman, Jake Gyllenhaal, Viola Davis from The Help, Maria Bello, who was in Coyote Ugly. She was the owner in Coyote Ugly. She was really good in this. Terrence Howard, it's like, where have you been? I know you've been in trouble kind of with the law for the past couple years, but I've missed you in movies. He was really good, very subtle character. Melissa Leo, she was, I think she won Best Supporting Actress, and I think for the fighter with Christian Bale and Mark Wahlberg, she was in it. Paul Dano, he was the friend in The Girl Next Door. He's like, dude, I know, dude, I know. He's that guy. He was really good. And then there was some kind of no names, but people that you always kind of recognize. The older actor of Len Carroll, he played a priest, and also a guy that I was really, really, really excited that he was cast in this movie is David Dastmalchian. If you don't know who David Dastmalchian is, it's this guy. I'll show you a picture because it's kind of hard to know who he is. It's this guy right here. If you recognize him, I'm impressed. And you know why? He was the creepy guy in The Dark Knight. You remember whenever Heath Ledger dressed up as a cop and he tried to attempt to assassinate I think the mayor? Well, he was that freaky guy that Christian Bale was trying to get a hold of, or Gary Oldman was trying to get a hold of for something. Well, the movie was absolutely spectacular. Let me explain why. Here's the main points. It's Thanksgiving. It's somewhere probably north Pennsylvania, kind of hunting area, kind of it's kind of a middle class area, and there's two families. Hugh Jackman and Maria Bella's family. They have a boy and a girl. The boy's in his teens. The girl is very young, like 5 or 6. They go over to Viola Davis and Terrence Howard's house for Thanksgiving. I guess they're maybe just not having enough money this year. They can't have their own Thanksgiving dinner, so they go over to their house, which is right across the street, like catty corner, and it's a very small little neighborhood. There's probably a house every, I would say, 20, 30 yards. So it's not huge up in your face neighborhood kind of thing where your neighbors are right there. So it's kind of maybe a little more suburbia. So they go over there, and they also have 2 daughters. Terrence Howard and Viola Davis have 2 daughters. One's probably 14 or 15, same age as their Hugh Jackman's son. And then they have a little girl named Joy. And she's probably 6, I would say. So they go over there and they're playing, having a good time, eating, drinking, and as time goes on, the 2 little girls, Joy, Terrence Howard's daughter, and Hugh Jackman's daughter, Anna, they're probably 6. They want to go back to Hugh Jackman's house because they want to get a whistle. They like to play with stuff, so they want to go get a whistle. So they happen to discover, prior to this, an RV parked out front when they went for a walk with the older siblings. And nothing was really said of it, they were kind of playing on it. So when they go back over to Hugh Jackman's house, suddenly they disappear. And no one can find them. And they're kind of having that fear well, where are they? Are they downstairs with you? Hugh Jackman was asking his son. And it's all this well, where are they? How are they gone? And it was really cool to see. I mean, it's not cool to have a missing child, but it was cool to see the acting really start to evolve from a happy, enjoying time off from work. It's Thanksgiving. Let's be grateful, to absolute fear, climbing up this huge mountain of fear. And I couldn't even imagine as a parent. I could not even imagine what it's like to have your child not be under your own watch and not know where they're at. I could not imagine that. And so the movie takes off from there. So now you're thinking all this stuff. And if you've seen the trailer, you already know that you would think Paul Dano is the prime suspect because he was supposed to be in the RV. Everyone thinks that. So many things happen in this movie that you have to pay very close attention to. The movie's 2.5 hours long, so many things evolve. So if you're thinking Paul Dano is like, oh, he's a suspect, that's it, let's just go get him, movie's over in 6 minutes. Forget about it. It's not going to work for you. The movie takes so many turns and so many discoveries, and it's not one of those movies where it's like a Da Vinci Code or Matrix or Inception where there's so much shit you have to keep piling into your brain so you can get this movie and also enjoy it. This movie is what it is. It was so accurately done, and the whole process of kidnapping. I thought it was an excellent movie how they did that. It didn't hurt my brain or rack my brain to think. Everyone in the theater were so quiet. I think, I've talked about how young kids can be punks in movies. There was kids in there, they were like, they didn't even take a deep breath. This movie was so much impact, so much thrill to it. It kept you on the edge of your seat. 2.5 hours flew by because I was so just focused on this movie. And there are so many characters in this movie you have to also acknowledge that could be the suspect. And you even go as far to say as some parents, some random neighbors, possibly cops. It's just, everyone's a suspect, like they say in the movie Scream, everyone's a suspect. And I just loved it. It was so good. I was so expecting greatness, and I was not whatsoever let down. I was really pleased with the movie. If I'm going to give stars 1 to 5, 5 being the best, 4.5 easily. 4.5 easily. And I will say, this is why I'll say 1/2 star off from being a perfect movie, in my opinion, from 5. I'll say 4.5 out of 5 for one thing. I know cops, investigators, FBI, CIA, I know they're all good. They deserve to be at their jobs. But I didn't think that some of the stuff they discovered or figured out was extremely possible. And I'll say this, Jake Gyllenhaal, he's Detective Loki. He has solved every case. According to him, he has solved every case. He will find the 2 girls, all this. And how he starts to discover things and pick up on things and notice things, it just seemed too good to be true. So that's my only thing. But that's it. There's nothing else. The acting was superb. My favorite character in this entire movie, I'm going to say Paul Dano. Or Dano. I think it's Dano. I'm sorry, Paul Dano. He plays this kid that has an IQ of like 10, and he's probably like 26 years old. He's not very intelligent. He's very kid-like. He's very silly in his own way, but then he's very, very quiet in his own way. And he was just so good in this movie. And the torture he goes throughout the entire movie, you won't even believe or imagine that someone could go through. It was just a great movie. I don't know how it's going to do with Oscars. I know there's so many movies coming out. They're going to really, I think, just trump over this movie. But in my opinion, it's 4.5 out of 5. And I will say, that, again, the casting was amazing. I mean, you will say to yourself, wow, this casting is really good. Everyone was in place. Hugh Jackman, he picked it up for me. I saw clips of Les Miserables, not my kind of thing at all. I'm not big into musicals or any of that kind of stuff. But he was exceptional in that too. But he picked it up for me for being a man. Like he was just a badass in this movie. He wanted things done, and he didn't care at all what kind of expense it would take to get his daughter back. And this movie just makes you think so much about life and how precious one thing can be. The next second it's gone. And it's just, you have to be careful. Because unfortunately, no matter what you do, you're never going to stop the sick people in this world. They will continue to reborn, and that's the sad thing. So you got to enjoy and spend time and love your family as much as possible, because you never know what can happen. So that's my review of Prisoners. 4.5 out of 5 stars. I love this movie. I definitely suggest you go see it. I would definitely suggest go see it in the theaters, because the music was coming all around in the theater, all around the stairs, surround sound, and the music made the movie so impactful. I was like, whoa! I was just like, all this noise coming, and it made the scene really look good. I'm sure it could probably do that for your TV screen at home, but it just didn't make the same impact. I don't think it'll make the same impact. That's what I'm saying. I really loved the stereo surround sound in the theater for this movie. It made it really, really suspenseful. So until next time, you take it easy, and bye.